Hello? What's going on? I wanted to share my desktop. I can even zoom in. Anthony's portfolio of different structures were something that inspired me quite a bit. It certainly proved there was a previous, as you say, civilization there in the Sahara Desert. And I'm saying thousands of years ago because I can prove it through examples of erosion and how to say, when you get a wear and tear on rocks, you can see how this happens. Morocco, Mauritania, Niger, Algeria, Mali, and the Tibesti Mountains. And those countries are kind of along the, those mountain ranges. These are mostly in the mountains. And that's what really actually survived the years of desertification. Okay, hide this. Okay, let's go through some of these pictures to see what I'm talking about. And I've done 3 videos on this, but I didn't really understand what was going on. Now, Anthony doesn't really believe the ones I'm going to show you are burial mounds, but a lot of the archaeological findings do show bodies under certain structures like this, and they call them tumuli, plural, or tumulus, as a basically a burial mound of some sort. However, Anthony has been taking a close look at this for a while, and he really feels that there's something to do with directional water and other types of things, which I'd like to sometime get him to elaborate on, but unfortunately he's not interested in doing an interview at this time. You can always contact him yourself. Anthony Tunstall has a Steemit account, and this specific folder was called The Eyes of the Sahara. These are actually just some debris. That actually came from Michelle Chun, and she felt like it looked like some type of cataclysmic event had happened here. And it certainly looks like the rock moved from one level all the way down. Okay, that's great. Interesting that it's not coming from the computer, right? I thought I logged out of everything. Well, luckily it's not interrupting the stream. That's what was happening yesterday when I tried to do this. So this is much higher quality. Let's hope. We're going to see. We're going to see how this all turned out. Here's a ground level shot of one of these tumuli, or the eyes of the Sahara. Why do they call it an eye? Because it's got this thing here, presumably the center of a mound. And presumably if you dug down, you would find somebody's body. But I don't know much about any research. One thing that I think is that these are all too similar. When they go across the desert, they're all so similar. They copy an exact duplicate of the same shape. And you see the shape change over the years. The early ones, I call them the early ones in Morocco. Maybe they're the later ones. We've got land changing several ways. You've got a alluvial plain that gets covered with alluvial deposits coming from the mountains. And that right there is how I prove that this is really old. I'm just going to let that play. People are trying to contact me. I don't know who it is. I should probably silent that. Here's some structures of those tumulus en croissant and sanctuaire à antenne. I don't know how to pronounce that, but the antennas are these legs. Now, the thing is that I don't usually see that mound right in the center. I see it down closer to here. There's some other, and by the way, a lot of the circles on the mountains could be considered the same thing. Burial mounds with walls erected around them. Here's a great example. And another thing that backs this up is the pictures I have of here in Taiwan, because they have very similar structures. So when you look at something like this in the desert, the question that I really have is the antennae. Why do they have the antennae? And why are they so perfectly symmetrical? when you look at them from the sky, why are they so similar? Okay, here's a grab from his Mauritania. All these little red eyes, and then, by the way, they're all in the same direction. So why are they all in the same direction? Are they pointing to a certain star? See, I take the razor's approach to everything, and I presume that there's no flying machines going across the Sahara following directional arrows, because we don't have the evidence yet. But I do feel like UFO technology is quite old, and it's not from extraterrestrial, it's from Earthlings. So when we see UFOs, we're talking about humans. And who are these humans? Okay, here's the eye. Look at that. Right along this road. So basically, what does a road tell you? It's a place that people have traveled for years and years. You've got this area here that's very mysterious. There are megalithic canals going around here. Why would they build canals there in the modern day? Why would they do that? Let's take a look at those canals. But when people tell me, oh, there's nothing there, nothing ever was. Well, yeah, these tumuli right here prove an ancient civilization. Here are some burial markers in Taiwan. And the person who took this didn't want to take the front because she was trying to be respectful. But when you do these, you see the family names, and I'm not sure, I guess it contains the whole family there, not just one person. But look at the shape of this one right here. And you see a crescent with a centerpiece. With this, I kind of argue towards the burial mound idea. Now, this tumulus is in the Morocco area, and you can see the so-called mound is at the end here. Usually when I see these, I see no mound. Here's another one. It's kind of hard to see. See, that one has the mound closer to here. That's more typical with the other types we see. Here's something from the ground. It just shows how these structures are put together. And I guess that's an antennae. Antenna. What's this? This is something seen from the sky. Very interesting. I'd like to know more about this. Not sure what that's about, actually, to be honest. I found that somewhere. Forgot where I got it. Now, this is Antony's collage of all the different areas. Morocco, Mauritania. I guess this is the Tibesti Mountains here. Niger, Mali, Algeria. What does that say? I can't see that. It says Sahara Desert. That says, I don't know what that says. That says Chad. These mountains here, can't remember which one is which. I guess the Tibesti is here on the right. And some of these circles, you might say those are burial mounds. They're all in the mountain tops. But these things, those things are different, aren't they? Those things are all perfectly symmetrical in the same way. How does a civilization maintain that type of symmetry? The ones in Morocco are kind of this shape mostly. Then they kind of stray into something like this. You see a lot of this shape. Antony was saying a lot of them don't have bodies. So I'd like to know more about that. This is a unique one that first captured my interest. And it's because they look like flying eyes. This is the one in Mauritania, right near the Eye of the Sahara. I like this one because it's kind of like a little trademark logo. Like whoever made these, they made the same one across the mountains. They're all the same. Was there a standard? Was there some type of a measurement or a rule? This one right here looks like a jellyfish with these little squiggly tails coming down. I think that they were straight and they got jiggled. They got kicked around or they got moved by water. This one's still pretty straight. This is the one that caught my interest. Now, the first time I saw this picture, I didn't realize that it was upside down for visual effects. But what you saw right away is that second leg or antennae coming out here. And when you turn it over, you really quickly see that it was a flood that washed away this whole upper alluvial plain. Now, how long does it take for something like that to happen? And then, furthermore, you've got this other alluvial fan forming, coming over that original flood. So you've got two major water events. You'll see that again. You'll see another picture of that. Okay, so this is Algeria. It shows the different eyes he found all over. This is from some of the research I found. So technically, this is the mound, the so-called burial mound where you'll find the body, and then the design around it marks the mound. But some of them have been said not to have bodies. This is a pretty beautiful one. I like that picture a lot. It kind of shows the design well. Now the circles, I think they're kind of explanatory. You have the main circle, sometimes walled, so it's high, and sometimes you've got a circle surrounded by other fencing. So it really shows an ancient civilization did exist for not just 20,000 years, but more like 300,000 years. This one has a double thing happening, doesn't it? Oh no, sorry, that's a trick. Sorry, ignore that. I didn't realize that was there when I grabbed that rock. I just put this on top. That's a real one underneath. This is a sketch. This one is very interesting because it has a triangle inside a circle. You kind of see that sometimes. It's a triangle inside a circle. Kind of hard to see. This one, I can't help but notice what this reminds me of. It's almost a perfect female breast. This Molly, quite a few. He's got several things. He's got the eyes left and right. He's got circles. You can see quite a bit of this is going across the Sahara Desert. So it's not like people haven't been there. That's an old thumbnail I used. This was supposed to be a column laid down, but I didn't quite believe that. I just thought it was an interesting shape. It also looks kind of phallic. This is up in Morocco. Let's see who's watching us right now. Anybody? Just me? See, this is the thing. I don't know if I can receive super chats doing this. I don't know if I can receive the, conversation chats, like the live stream chats. This is why I don't really trust this. But I'm going to go ahead and finish it just so I have the explanation on tumuli in the Sahara Desert. I've been calling them the eyes of the Sahara. He has. I was calling them eyes of Atlantis. And in my opinion, it really still does ring true. Because what it proves is this ancient civilizations using the same techniques across the Sahara over thousands and thousands of years. And I can prove it's thousands and thousands just from these pictures. When they put those tumuli up there, and by the way, we can see them right here. The one that I showed you is very close to the ocean. It almost has an ocean view. And here, these are the Niger ones. This is the Algeria ones. This one is of course, the Eye of the Sahara in Mauritania, although it's not all of Mauritania. Here's some more of those sketches showing the different mounds or tumulus. This is all in French. Here's some more Taiwan burial mounds or burial plots. On tomb sweeping day, everybody goes there and sweeps the tombs. So they call it tomb sweeping day. This one is very, very nice. So a lot of people went up into the mountains and created these things. There's more all over. Oh, was that Tibesti Mountains? Okay, those were the Tibesti Mountains. And where are we here? I guess that's the ones up on the right. This is an interesting one. You don't really see a burial mound anywhere. And you can see the old rock through it, so it's very, very thin. It's like they almost swept sand. So this one was found in the Atlas Mountains more, and in the Adrar Plateau down by the eye, we found a lot more that kind of look like this. I think that this one is very interesting because of its almost perpendicularness, but it's just so perfectly symmetric and just the length. Seems like they weren't even burial mounds. Okay, this is a picture of that same burial mound or that same tumulus. You can see here, if you zoom in, you can see it right there. And the leg that's disappearing was here, so they had two of them right here, one right behind the other. And it was pointing right at the ocean. And then suddenly some type of a flood came through here, like how many years ago? Well, before you answer that, first you see this other river that came this way and created this alluvial fan. Now, this alluvial fan comes out about, I would say, 40, 50 feet, maybe even farther. And it's pretty wide as well, maybe even, you could say, 100-foot wide. There's another one over here. It's kind of small. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's not as big, but there are two alluvial fans that have come through here. Now, so you see these two, not just, this didn't happen at the same time this happened. They happened eventually simultaneously, but one happened before the other. Over here, we have some other entry over here. So you've really got this river that was above, filling with water, overflowing, coming down here. And one event caused this one. This was the old alluvial plain. Then there was an event that tore through here and tore away that alluvial plain, including part of our tumulus. Now, how long ago did they create that on that plain? They must have put it somewhere where they thought it was semi-safe to bury someone. If it's a burial ground, they don't want their people washed away eventually. And if it's not a burial ground, what type of a directional branding was it? Probably one of our oldest logos in human history. So this burial mound, or whatever you want to call it, was washed away. And then, however many years later, they had another water event here, over here, on top of this, 3, maybe 4. So ask yourself this: when was the last time there was flooding inside the Sahara Desert? Floods like this? I would say more than 10,000 years ago. All those events had to have occurred, and so therefore the actual burial mounds are that old. Look how this one has already been aged. I've seen ages on this. That's supposed to be super old. This is another one. I think we're almost finished here. Here's one that has specifically totally horizontal antennae. Not sure what this is all about. I guess they're secondary. Maybe if I go with the whole burial mound theory, there is somebody else in the family buried here, somebody else buried here. I think those two rocks kind of probably fell from here over the years. Okay, there's that one that really inspired me. This one is Morocco again. The ones that I was showing you is over here. It's actually the very first few. There's a river over here, a small river basin, but this is really dry Atlas Mountains. A little bit of a runoff in the last 5,000 years, but not this type of flooding. Not this type of alluvial fan. This alluvial fan takes years and years. It's not just one event. This takes years and years to pull out so far. The farther out, the older it is. So this one isn't so old in a way. I mean, unless you measure the width, it's about 100 feet wide. But just to be honest, the biggest alluvial fan in the world, which is in China, has just the top layer is 50,000 years old. Just the top layer alone. So the whole fan is millions and millions of years old, coming from the mountains. So this fan could easily be 10,000 years old. When was the last time it flooded in Africa? Okay, so if you're a believer in the flood myth, then you might believe it happened about 12,000 years ago, maybe 13,000. Here are some other shapes, a couple of tracings I did just to try to get the idea about these things. They're always so similarly symmetrical that it's hard to believe that it's just a burial mound. I just have a hard time believing it because of the way when you're checking in Google Maps, they're all pointing in the same direction. I'd like to see more evidence of it. And that's it. I think we're pretty much finished with this presentation. We're now back to the beginning, and now I want to see the results of this on the Google Hangouts. So let's see how this all turned out. Have a nice day. I hope that I didn't miss any comments. I don't see any comments here. I don't understand how this Google Hangouts thing works, but I'm going to stop the broadcast. Have a great day. Please subscribe to my channel. Click the bell. Share this with anybody you think cares, and share my channel, including the Atlantis playlist. I would really appreciate that. You'd really be helping me because I'm trying to get money together. I'm super broke. I don't whine about how poor I am right now, but if I could get an extra $35 on YouTube in the next, say, let's say 10 minutes, or sorry, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted because I actually wanted to open this and check on the stream and see what's going on here. Let's see if I can get back. This one of these is Ground Heroes on the Richat. By the way, I didn't mention why I called it that, did I? I called it that because originally we have an issue with people going to the Richat structure and not visiting these megalithic structures. See, this isn't even showing here. So I'm afraid that this live stream isn't really live. That's the bottom line. Check out my ignored megalithic Atlantis structures here. I put it up yesterday or 2 days ago now. I feel like it was yesterday. I think I did it here on the 15th, but it's labeled the 14th. I did these two right away together. Then I put up one about how do I live stream my desktop, which I'm doing now through Google Hangouts. But see, this is the problem. I can't get super chats. What's the point? I tried running OBS, which is right here, Streamlabs OBS. It wouldn't even open. I'm going to try it again when I hang up this thing. Please, each one of these ancient Atlantis style videos, there's a few of them here, has the link to my playlist. Please check out my earlier work with the ancient maps and share those videos. Megalithic canals leading to Atlantis. The other one that's important is what I call the temple. It's more of a henge. It's bigger than Stonehenge. It's also an example of megalithic rocks in a formation. They must be thousands of years old. There's also going across the desert, these big, huge megalithic rocks that are stacked up on each other to create what's called, and I forgot the word, but it's like a little structure to protect yourself from the rain. I mean, how did I wish I had a picture of that right now, but I don't want to search for it. And the word got dolums. Yeah, these dolums. Okay, well, it's not showing the stream, so the broadcast is probably going to not be live anymore. That's why I can't do this Google Hangouts. I need to get an encoder that works on my computer. All right, that's it. I'm done. Have a good day. I'm kind of disappointed because I'm discovering that I don't really have a real live stream happening. It's just a broadcast that's later uploaded, never live streamed. Have a good day. Bye-bye.